Meet Khan. He's 31 years old and calls California home. This is his first trip to Cambodia, and it's going to be a long one. Khan was recently deported from the United States, and he can never go back.
Welcome to Cambodia. From Phnom Penh, where the dream is made of.
His parents are Cambodian, and Khan was born in a Thai refugee camp. He came to the US as a 1-year-old, but now he's stuck in a place he only knows from his parents' war stories.
This is what American people do.
Eat hamburgers.
And take pictures before they eat it.
When was the first time you've ever been to Cambodia?
Never. Just this 9 months ago. This is the first time I've ever been in Cambodia.
Khan's here because of an agreement between the US and Cambodia to take back refugees who have fallen foul of the law.
I committed a crime in 2004 for basically stealing cars. That was my past. I did something 10 years ago. I know it was wrong. And it's just like, now I'm here, it's just like, it's mind-blowing. I just can't register it.
Cambodian Americans are in a unique position. Any crime that carries a year or more's prison term, or even multiple petty crimes, can result in automatic deportation, even if they've never been to Cambodia. Khan tells me he feels like he's being punished twice, and his new sentence is a lifelong one. Khan's mum and sister live in Stockton, California. They have no idea if they'll ever see him again.
And what's been on the menu tonight?
Well, we have beef stir fry, barbecue chicken. That was Khan's favorite. He requests for that all the time when he was here.
For the last 9 months, this has been as close as Khan has come to a family dinner.
Hi, brother.
Hi, Uncle.
Hi, Con. My daughter, that was her favorite uncle. She was very upset when, he got deported, and she asked about him all the time. When is he gonna come back? I miss Uncle.
Yep.
It hurts. I'm telling you. Just to Skype my niece the other day, oh man, it means a lot, The simplest thing.
Khan and others like him are at the centre of a moral debate. Is it right to deport someone permanently to a country they've never known? What happens when the children of war and genocide are displaced all over again?
Deport my son back to Cambodia. Make me sad. Plus my kids don't have a family in Cambodia.
Khan's mum Ving fled Cambodia under the shadow of the Khmer Rouge. 2 million people were killed in the genocide. Pol Pot forced the population into torture prisons or labour camps. Khan's mum spent 6 years in one of those camps before she was able to escape. As a refugee to the United States, she never thought her son would be forced back into the land she fled. I went with Khan to a memorial of Cambodia's dark history.
Really depressing. No words can explain that. Really sad.
And perhaps for the first time, he realizes how lucky his family was to get out.
Let's give me the chill.
One-year-old Khan and his family came to the US as refugees in 1985. They describe it as moving from one war zone to another. Like many Cambodians, they were settled in areas of America already overrun with crime and gang violence.
There's always shooting, there's always violence somewhere.
Too hard to me because I don't know how to speak English very well. But I'm happy to live in United States.
The family trusted in the law at the time, which meant that as permanent residents they were safe in America and safe from deportation.
You know, I thought I was permanent. You know, I thought I was there legally. I'm forever there. That, you know, you can't remove me from there. Basically, that's what permanent means.
He was wrong. The laws changed. In 1996, the US broadened the types of crimes that led to deportation. It meant even something minor, like repeated shoplifting, could see you getting kicked out of the country. Khan was shocked to be picked up a decade after his conviction. On leaving America, he was stripped of identity.
They took my driver's license and my green card and my Social Security card that I had in my wallet at that time.
So what do you have now?
Nothing.
Cambodia accepts these deportees, but then offers no assistance to get a local ID, which they need to work, rent a house, even get a phone. This is Wicced. He was deported from the US 11 years ago. Dateline first met him in 2009 as he was still coming to terms with his new life and new family in Cambodia.
Like my daughters, they're half American. You know what I mean? Like, so what happens when I want them to go off to college, to Harvard or something, you know, to high school, or visit their grandparents in the States, you know what I mean? I can't take them.
Hello, anybody home?
Now he's helping other returnees adjust, like Khan, who he mentors.
Look like you just made it home, huh?
I can share my feelings with them, like what I went through and what they should expect as well. That's what I can offer as a friend, as a fellow deportee.
So how's life after America? Huh? So how you like the food out here?
Loving it, dude.
Loving it?
Loving it.
Wicced has carved out a life here now, but it's taken time to realize that his future is in Cambodia.
No, that's good. I'm here. I got deported to Cambodia. Let's move on with life.
But even after 11 years, he still feels isolated here.
You know, and my dad passing away last year, and I couldn't be there for that, and I had to watch him, you know, go through all that just through Skype. It's messed up. You know, it's terrible. We all need to be there for our family, especially through times like that.
New deportees continue to arrive. Wicced has no shortage of people to help through their first tough years.
Most of the new guys, they're really frustrated. You can even say angry. You know, I think angry is probably the right word, because I was pretty much angry as well.
They put us in a land we don't know nothing about. The hell? We just dropped off and then get fit in, right? Oh shit, this is bullshit.
Somewhere?
These guys tell me they've slipped through the cracks. They're neither American or Cambodian.
You put us in a place where we know nothing about, you know what I mean? And there's no kind of line of help to support us.
Right.
You know, housing,
totally agree.
Foundation, you know what I mean? Even just learning about the culture of the living style.
Speaking
Cambodian.
Third world country. I'm struggling to find a job because I have tattoos.
Local Cambodians feel little sympathy, telling them they've messed up their golden opportunity in America.
When we look at them as locals, but technically we're locals too now. But we're not accepted as a native.
It's Cambodian New Year's Eve, American style. The large Cambodian community in the US is celebrating. But behind the smiles lies the stressful issue of deportation. Almost 500 Cambodian Americans have been deported. 2,000 more have been told they will be banished, but haven't been told when.
I'm on the list for deportation, so it could happen any day, I don't know. The hardest part about this thing is not knowing.
Which one you recommend for a kid?
David is one of thousands living in limbo. He served 19 years for a serious crime and says he doesn't deserve a second punishment.
And some of us committed an offense when we were kids. Myself, I was 16. Everybody deserves a second chance. Yeah, I think that one is good. Yummy.
I have 2 kids that I support. The biggest concern that I have is for my family when I'm deported because I'm the sole provider for my family.
See? Go good, come on.
I hit the road to get a legal opinion as to how this happens.
So I'm Judge Dana Lee Marks. I am the president of the National Association of Immigration Judges. We described immigration law as being like the old show, The Twilight Zone, where now you're entering an alternate legal universe. It is highly dysfunctional.
Dysfunctional and a hot topic of debate. Those doing the deporting are overwhelmed with huge caseloads. Judge Marks tells me the system is flawed.
If you are a long-time lawful permanent resident who came as a child and then has crimes that may cause you to be removed from the United States, if you're not given forgiveness by the immigration court, you're exiled and banished from the only country that you know.
In a lot of cases, that forgiveness isn't possible. Rehabilitation isn't even considered. Whether you're a murderer or a petty criminal, the result is the same: automatic removal by order of the US government.
We live in the communities too. We don't want people who are dangerous to our neighbors to be here. But we also don't want to send people who have genuinely rehabilitated themselves, who have changed their lives, turned their lives around. We don't want to separate those people from their family members and friends. We're applying these blanket rules, which sometimes function well, but sometimes don't achieve the result that most people would think is the most fair.
With no local language or ID comes the challenge of employment. Many deportees from Western countries end up homeless, like Hong. He grew up and went to school in Western Sydney, and now he sleeps rough on the streets of Cambodia. The USA is not the only country deporting refugees.
I've been staying in Australia for a long time, you see. I can't be like an Aussie, you know?
You sound a bit like an Aussie.
I know. Yeah. Since I was a young boy, I went to Australia.
Australia?
Yeah.
Right.
When I was a young boy.
You're a refugee?
Yes.
Right, from the Khmer Rouge?
Yes.
And how come you live back here?
I get deported.
Got deported from Australia?
Yep.
How long did you live in Australia for?
For 22 years.
Right. And what was the story about you getting deported?
I think I made a mistake. I've done a bad boy and was like a gangster and all that. And suddenly I get deported.
If Hong was a naturalised Australian citizen, he couldn't have been deported. But 30 years ago, when the rest of his family attended a citizenship ceremony, Hong, just a young boy, was off with his friends. He couldn't be found, and he missed out. Dateline accessed Hong's criminal record under Freedom of Information. We discovered his deportable crime was demanding money from a shop. He didn't have a weapon, but he did say that his friends would come and get them if they refused. He was 19 years old.
In Australia, everything is good. It's very, very good there. And especially in Cambodia, it's not very good. I wish I can go back.
Hong's now ill with cancer. He's not permitted to fly home to Australia for medical treatment or to visit his aging parents. We spoke to Hong's lawyer about his case.
In effect, the deportation of a person is an additional punishment, not only on the person who committed the offences, but on their families. In my experience, it is the most unfair and un-Australian of any of our laws.
Cambodia is a country where business is booming for the wealthy elite. Foreign investment and aid money flows into Phnom Penh, but beyond the sprouting skyscrapers and shiny SUVs, most of the population sees little benefit. Receiving other countries' so-called rejects is profitable here, as we saw when Australia paid $55 million to the Cambodian government to receive just 5 refugees from Nauru. These Cambodian American deportees want to know what price was paid for their displacement.
We understand the US government pays Cambodia thousands, if not millions of dollars to receive these deportees. So far, we've had repeated attempts with the Immigration Ministry to confirm this, and they've said no. But we're going to try again.
I'm trying to ask this guy, General Sok Paul, Director of the Immigration Ministry. So far, I've filed multiple requests in Cambodian and English, and they've been lost, ignored, and eventually denied.
Did he give a reason why we couldn't have the interview? He could confirm with me that the request had been denied for an interview, but he couldn't tell me why, and I wondered if you knew why that was.
Eventually, I tracked him down.
Did you get that request, sir?
So the question of money changing hands still remains unanswered. Getting to the bottom of the politics behind deportation is a challenge, but Wicced and others are determined to fight the system. He and his sister-in-law are lobbying the US government. Their organisation One Love is trying to stop the deportation of other American residents.
People just keep getting deported, and again, with the being in limbo is such a devastating place to sit for an entire family.
Having gotten little traction in the US, they've found the UN is willing to listen.
Moving it to the United Nations was a strategic move, and I think a way for us to open up channels of deeper understanding of where our community is coming from, and why we want the deportations to stop and for people to be returned home.
Without warning, our people began being taken away. Fathers, brothers, uncles, cousins, sisters, people who had served their time.
I always felt like being deported was a life sentence.
Their claim is not just that deportation displaces families forever, but also that Cambodian American residents have harsher deportation rules than residents from other countries.
What we are arguing for is that Cambodia follow a similar model to the Vietnamese repatriation agreement. The Cambodian agreement is 3 pages long. The US-Vietnam agreement is 8 or 9 pages long, with a lot more specific criteria, a lot more standards in terms of how to prove that someone is Vietnamese, a lot more protections.
Protections like exemptions for refugees who arrived during the Vietnam War, inability to deport people to a country where they've never lived, and a proviso that if people are deported, they're given time to get their affairs in order and say goodbye to their families. None of these privileges are currently offered to Cambodian US residents.
And to be removed to the other side of the world is not just unconstitutional, it's completely inhumane and a violation of human rights at many levels.
Mia and Wicced are hopeful these changes can happen this year at the sunset of the Obama administration.
He's starting to do all kinds of crazy things, right, as presidents do at the end of their terms. So he's doing all this stuff around mass incarceration, releasing people from prison, giving people pardons, all this kind of stuff, right? We think that this is totally a possibility to do.
But it's cold comfort for Khan knowing he wouldn't be stuck in a foreign country if he were Vietnamese. Instead, he's here in Cambodia for life. He's training to be an English teacher, but he's still struggling with the day-to-day.
It's pretty depressing. You wake up, it feels like you have no life here. You don't have like really good friends to talk to or go to or have barbecues and like enjoy kind of like you living life. There's no life out here for me.
Khan's unemployed. His family are the only thing keeping him off the streets.
My mom supports me and my family. Whatever they can, kind of gather up a little bit, like $200-300 a month, you know, trying to make it out here and just trying to, you know, make sure I get fed a little bit and kind of, you know, it's kind of hard for them at this moment.
It's a situation that's hard for everyone. Khan was permanently removed from the US, and the same month his sister was killed by a drunk driver. He wasn't allowed out of immigration custody to attend her funeral.
They said, you have to call your mom. How would you feel? You want justice. You want to be there for your family too, just like any human being.
Ving mourns both her children.
Made me too sad, like the same I lost my daughter too. Look like I lost 2 kids, and I feel, yeah.
This is not the life Khan's family expected when they were given a second chance after the war. His deportation, and that of others like him, is displacing yet another generation of Cambodians.
Did you ever think you'd end up living in Cambodia?
Never a day. Never a day. I thought I would never see Cambodia. This is not home. Home is where you have your family, and being out here alone in this third world country is just, who do I run to? Who do I talk to? I have nobody.